But anyway folks, and welcome to another little tinkering job I've conjured up. So, you wouldn't have seen these before. These are Annie's original steel wheels. I got 4 of them with the car, and to be honest, all they've done is sit around and take up space. So I decided that I should do something with them, and I think the best thing I could do is give them a little bit of a restoration and look at putting some new tyres on them in the future. And then hopefully, if all goes well, I'll be able to use these perhaps when I'm going to shows, maybe next year or something like that, something original to the car. So what's interesting about these is they've been done before, and you can kind of see, well, you probably can't see from that distance, but the finish is quite rough around the edge here, but it hasn't been touched in the centre here, and that's because I've got 3 of Annie's original hubcaps, and they look as though they've been brush painted. So it looks as though these wheels have been brush painted. So the aim is that I'm going to strip these back with a wire wheel, with a few wire brushes on a drill, and then I'm going to repaint them. I'm going to try and get as close to bare metal as possible, and then coat them in a zinc primer and then do the painting. Now, little word on detail here. Now, I'm not someone who aims for absolute detail on a car, but if it's something that's easy enough to achieve, then I'll do it, and it is the case with these. I find that wheels are very easy to over restore. Ultimately, this is a mass production car, and these wheels would have been hurried out very, very quickly in the factory. And you can kind of see evidence of that here. So on the front here, this is all silver, which is a standard sort of wheel colour. But you look on the inside, probably not so brilliant on this example, but through the muck, there's a bit of the original finish there, and it's grey. So chances were the original finish would have been a grey primer that was probably powder coated on. In fact, you can probably see it a bit better along here. That's more of a grey finish, but with a bit of silver overspray. So my plan is that the zinc primer that I've got is actually very close to this original colour. So the plan is to paint it all in the zinc primer to fend off the rust, have a go over with an undercoat primer on the front face, then the silver, and then give the whole lot a little go over with some clear lacquer. Not too much, because the finish, you can probably see on here, is quite dull. So that is my plan, that's my goal. Hopefully by the end of the day I should have 4 lovely looking wheels that don't look over restored and should be all of the nice. So let's get crack-a-lacking then. Right, so we've come outside for this bit of a job. I've got a few wire brush attachments to use on a drill here. I've decided to go for a corded drill, that way I'm not worrying about batteries or anything like that. So I've got this one on, it's quite a small wheel, so the bristles are quite firm on it, and that should take away the majority of the rust that's creeping through and a lot of the paint as well. But because these are brass tipped, hopefully it shouldn't damage the steel of the wheel. So we should hopefully end up with quite a nice polished sort of finish on here. And I'll be going over both sides, obviously the edge of the rim as well. These rims are in really good shape as well. There's only a wee bit of what looks like curb damage on there, but nothing major at all. So this is going to be quite a fun little process. So I think without further ado, let's get a crack-a-lacking. Okey-coke. So now that's cleaned up as much as I'm willing to take it, ultimately I just thought, just take off any of the loose stuff, any of the stuff on the outer face here, and it should be all fine, pip and dandy. So now I've just got to clean this up. and don't really panel wipe, so some brake and clutch cleaner will have to do. Ultimately, it's the same sort of stuff, it's just naphtha. So it's basically a petroleum-based solvent. So I might have to give this one another go on the inside, but still, the outer face here, that's all of a happy. Right, and once this is all cleaned up, it's time for the next stage. And the next stage is, of course, putting on the primer. So this wheel is one I've done earlier. As you can see, it's stripped pretty much to the bare metal. There's just a little bit of red oxide on the sides there. There's a big floor. Make sure the can's given a good shuggle. And then away we go. Make sure to get the rim as well. Okie coke. Now I'm just going to wait for that to dry, and then I can go on with the next coat of primer, which will be the undercoat. Right, and now we go on to the undercoat primer, which is this one. So this is the final layer of primer before the silver goes onto this face. Right, but yeah, you can see the difference in colour between the two primers, for sure. That one's definitely closer to what the finished article will look like. Okay, and now it's time to apply some silver. Again, so it's just the front face wheel that's getting the undercoat primer and the silver. So should look all the nicer for it when it's done. Right, so right, so all that wheel needs now is just a clear coat, and then I'll have to follow suit with the other two behind it. Okay, so these two are now at the point where they can be cleared, so this is just going to seal up all of the paint, and I'll just give it a good misting so it's not going to look hideously dull, but it's also actually going to protect the paint. And I'm also going to prime, I'm going to clear the primer in here to get that to try and mimic the original finish as before. But you just watch as that colour changes when we get to it. Right, you watching? Don't need to be too delicate in here. This is a surface of the wheel that gets a lot of neglect, so but that mimics the original finish. There it is. Right, so I just need to let those dry and then I'll show you the results. So as a little side job, I thought I'd tackle the centre caps for the wheels. So these are all roughly painted in the finish, and I thought, right, how on earth do I strip the paint off these? Because I can't use a wire brush because these are plastic and I don't want to end up damaging them. So what do? You use something you're not supposed to put on a car. This is TFR. Now, as I've mentioned before, I work for a motor factors. Excuse the use of a freezer bag, but all my gloves have disappeared. No idea where they're gone, but I need gloves for this. Because now, I work in a motor factors and I get so many people who go, can I get some TFR? And I'm always so hesitant to sell it. Why? Well, let's see, shall we? Note the colour change. That was silver and it's now going brown. If you leave that for long enough, this is what happens. The paint literally just comes off. In fact, I've got a Brillo pad here. So this is down to the primer on this one. So this kind of confirms my theory that this car was, the wheels were painted with the centre cap still on. But yeah, you can see just on this one, that's all going yellow now. And that's because of the fact that it's just eating away at the top surface of the paint. Now, here's a fun little side story. I had a customer, once my phone shuts up, I had a customer who came in complaining about a grill that he bought because he washed the car and the paint literally fell off. So I asked, what did you use to clean the car? And he said, I went over it first with some TFR. That's what happens. TFR shouldn't be used on the body of a car. It is very, very nasty stuff. It will eat your paint if you're not careful with it. People just look at all the hand car washes and see how they spray something on. Yes, that is TFR, but it's extremely diluted. Like, this is neat TFR. And as I said, that looked like, well, that before I sprayed TFR on it. But yeah, so this is what I'm going to use to strip the paint off these. But this is just my little side job. So I'll just keep at these until they're stripped down enough for me to paint. So after quite a fair bit of effort, this is the end result. Very, very happy with this. So you can see that immediately the finish is a lot brighter. It's also a lot smoother. On this particular wheel, I didn't go quite to bare metal absolutely on it. So there's still a bit of a rough finish around some of the pressings around here and on the inside of the rim, but to be honest, not too bad. From a distance, it'll look absolutely fine. I've got that semi-satin finish that I was looking for. So it's still quite dull, even though it has been sealed in a clear coat. And if we go to the back, you can see, so this is just the zinc primer, just with a coat of clear on it. And I think that carries the illusion pretty well. So the clear obviously gives it the appearance of that sort of powder coated primer finish, but it also has another job, which is that it'll help seal the primer, because obviously primer is not designed to be on show, it's supposed to be underneath paint. So just a little bit of clear on there should hopefully protect that and keep that all of the nice. But I'm very, very happy with the overall finish of this. I think it looks absolutely bob on. And I can't wait until I get some nice suitable tyres to put on this, and then I can take Annie to shows and all the rest of it, and it'll look really, really nice. So yeah, I'm very happy. Now I'm really annoyed about the tyre situation, because when the car came to me with these steels had 3 Uniroyal Rally 280s on them, and they look the absolute business on a car like my Alpine, because it's a very retro sort of tread pattern. You've got they're a wet weather tyre, so they're really really suitable for the UK. But the problem is that Uniroyal don't make the Rally 280 anymore. That is a good few generations ago, and you can kind of probably see why I had those tyres removed, and it's because, well, they're perished absolute hell. So they're currently in the scrap heap in the sky. So it's a shame about that, but yeah, hopefully I'll be able to find some nice tyres at a reasonable price. I'd like to keep with premium tyres, because with my experience on the Jaguar, premium tyres are just so worth it. There's no going back to just cheap budget tyres after you've had to go with premium ones, because the grip you get is fantastic. The longevity of the tyres is also really good as well. So hopefully I'll be able to find a suitable tyre that will be in keeping with the age of the Talbot, but will give me the benefits of like better fuel economy, maybe better grip or whatever. I will go a little bit wider the 155s, because I have noticed the front end can be a wee bit skittish on the car. So yeah, that's all in the future, but yeah, I'll leave you with this. So thank you very much for watching, guys. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. Like and comment if you well, if you liked what I see. So yeah, I'll see you later. Take care. Bye.